Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so when you hear Shinjuku in Tokyo, what comes to mind? Probably, skyscrapers, neon lights, that massive train station,
The
right?
busiest one in the world, yeah.
Exactly. But what if I told you there's another Shinjuku? Sort of hidden one. The original historical Shinjuku, packed with Edo period history and these amazing strategic secrets. And it's actually way over in Katsushika Ward.
It really is Tokyo's big geographical curveball.
Yeah.
And you're spot on for that really authentic old Tokyo feel. Katsushika is the place.
Right.
But crucially, you need to know the name.
Right.
Katsushika's Shinjuku isn't Shinjuku. It's pronounced Nijuku.
Nijuku.
Nijuku. Okay, it literally means new post town. It started out as Kasai Shinjuku, maybe 440 years back, founded by the Hojo clan. Completely different place, different history.
Okay, that totally changes the picture. So we're definitely not talking about the Western metropolis today. Our mission here is to give you, our listener, the inside track on this incredible historical spot. We'll unpack Nijuku's secrets and then check out its famous neighbor, Shibamata. If you're looking for that genuine Tokyo experience, something beyond the usual tourist trails, this is definitely for you.
This is about history you can actually, walk through. The Edo period, still there.
Let's dive into Nijuku then. Before trains, before cars, this place was huge strategically. It wasn't just any post town. It was the very first big stop after Senju on the super important Mito-Sakura Road.
That road was key.
Connecting Edo to Mito, where one of the big Tokugawa families lived, and then onwards to places like Sakura and Narita.
Yeah, the Mito Road was critical. And because powerful lords, potentially rebellious ones, used it, the shogunate didn't just see these towns as rest stops. They were more like, checkpoints. Military outposts, almost.
Wow.
And what's really fascinating about Nijuku is how that defensiveness was built right into the town's layout. It wasn't just about guards.
You mentioned architecture before, so paint us a picture. What was it like arriving in Nijuku, say, 400 years ago?
Okay, imagine riding towards the town. Instead of the nice, straight main street, the road suddenly takes these incredibly sharp, right-angled turns, sometimes 3 in a row.
Huh. Weird.
They're called mashugata. And they weren't mistakes in planning. They were totally deliberate. Defensive.
Okay, so mashugata. If you're charging in on horseback or an army's trying to march through, what do these bends actually do?
Well, they kill your visibility instantly. You can't see what's around the next corner. And crucially, they force any incoming group to slow right down, break formation. You can't exactly shoot an arrow or fire a musket effectively down a zigzagging street.
Right, makes sense.
And here's the really clever bit. Big, solid buildings like temples and shrines, think High Shrine, Gushinji Temple, they were placed right on those corners.
Ah, so they could act as strong points. Or observation posts, maybe hide soldiers or villagers.
Exactly that. Strategic buffers ready to be used. And the amazing thing for us today, those deliberately curved bits of the old road, they're still there. Seriously. You can walk those exact bends in the road today and physically feel that defensive, almost wartime planning right under the modern pavement. It gives you this connection to the past that's just gone in most rebuilt cities.
That's incredible. To actually trace a 400-year-old defensive strategy, that's a real hidden gem for a traveler. But, okay, if the Mito Road was so vital, how come Nijuku ended up staying so quiet and traditional, while nearby places like Kamari and Kanamachi got busier with transport?
Well, that's one of those great historical ironies, isn't it? A classic Meiji-era story where local money basically overruled national progress.
Okay.
So, late 19th century Japan Railway, the forerunner of the Jōban Line, planned to put a station right there in Nijuku. Logical spot.
Makes sense.
But the local residents actually campaigned against it, successfully.
Wait, they fought not to get a train station in the middle of Japan's big modernization push? That sounds counterintuitive.
It seems like it now, yeah. But it all boiled down to the Nakagawa Bridge. The old ferry crossing we'll talk more about that had been replaced by a bridge. And the town was making good money collecting tolls from everyone crossing it.
Ah, the tolls.
Exactly. They figured if a train station comes in, everyone just take the train, bypass the bridge, and bang goes their main source of income.
So they literally chose the guaranteed cash from the bridge,
Okay.
tolls, over the potential, maybe uncertain growth from the railway.
That's pretty much it. They prioritized their current local economy over the promise of modernization and, exponential growth. So the railway built its stations further up the line in Kamari and Kanamachi instead.
Wow.
And that decision, made over 130 years ago, is why Nijuku was essentially bypassed by major development and still has that incredibly traditional, quiet feel today, It's a direct result of that one choice.
That's fascinating, and it really highlights how important that river crossing was economically. Let's talk about the Nakagawa River itself. That crossing, the Shinjuku-no-watashi, the Nijuku ferry crossing, was like the main artery, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The river was everything. And this particular crossing point was apparently quite beautiful. So much so, it caught the eye of the great Ukiyo-e master, Utagawa Hiroshige.
Oh, wow. Hiroshige.
Yep. In his famous series, 100 Famous Views of Edo, there's a print called Nijuku-no-watashi. It shows the scene.
So if we're standing there today, how can we kind of picture what Hiroshige saw back in the 19th century?
Well, you can stand on the modern Nakagawa Bridge, look out over the water, and sort of overlay his image in your mind.
Yeah.
He shows these simple boats, Mount Tsukuba, way off in the distance, and these little riverside restaurants, like one called Chibataya, right on the banks.
Restaurants, what were they known for?
River fish. That whole area was famous for it. Fresh carp, eel, served up in the local inns for travelers taking a break. Delicious stuff, apparently.
That gives you a real taste of the past, literally. Are there any other physical clues left from the old ferry days that we can look for?
There are. Near the eastern side of the bridge, look for a monument and a young tree. That marks the spot of the Tabu no Ki, a big old camphor tree that was the main landmark for people heading to the ferry.
A guidepost.
Exactly. But this spot was also important for another reason. It was where travelers would turn off for, well, what we'd probably call microtourism today, a popular local day trip from Edo.
Ooh, a day trip destination. Where were they going?
To Shibamata.
Ah, Shibamata.
Yeah, the path leading there started right near the ferry crossing, branching off the main Mito Road towards the famous Taishakuten Temple, the Taishakudo. And there's this amazing, unique old signpost still showing the way.
A signpost? What should people look for?
Okay, near where Route 6 splits off today, you need to keep an eye out for this carved stone signpost that says Taishakudo. It's from the Meiji era, it's got the temple crest on it, and the best part, there's a carved finger pointing directly towards the temple.
A pointing finger. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's this fantastic piece of history, literally pointing pilgrims and now tourists like us exactly where to go. Over a century old.
That finger points us right into Shibamata. Now, this place is probably best known nationally, maybe internationally too, as the setting for that incredibly popular film series, Tora-san.
It's tough to be a man, yeah. Decades of movies.
And those films really captured this strong sense of community, ninji, they call it, and this deep feeling of like Shuhua-era nostalgia, mid-20th century vibe.
Definitely. And the reason Shibamata feels so authentic in those films is because it genuinely represents that preserved Shitamachi culture, the old downtown, the low city. While central Tokyo is racing ahead, Shibamata kind of held onto its community feel, the narrow streets, the traditional little shops.
So if you're visiting and want to step into that time warp, where's the first place to go?
You have to start with the Shibamata Taishakuten Sando. That's the main approach road to the temple, about 200 meters long. It's lined with these wonderful old wooden buildings, shops that have been there forever.
What kind of shops?
Lots of traditional sweets and snacks. You absolutely have to try the local specialty, kusadango. They're these green mugwort dumplings. Shops like Takagi have been making them for generations. It's a real taste of the place.
Mugwort dumplings. Got it. And linking back to the river we were talking about earlier, that food culture is still alive too, right? Not just sweets.
Oh, absolutely. That's really important. The tradition of eating river fish is still going strong here. Places like Kawachika used to be Kawachiya or Kawachisenga. They still serve those Edo-era traveler staples, carp, eel.
Kayaking right back.
Exactly. Eating there connects you directly to those travelers resting by the Nakagawa hundreds of years ago. The food is the heritage, in a way.
Beyond the food and the Tora-san Museum, which sounds great, with models of the old streets, is there one standout building that really captures that sort of Taishu or early Shofu architectural style, that transition period?
For me, it has to be the Yamamoto-Tea. It's this beautiful old residence built back in the Taishu era, the 1920s. It's just a fantastic example of the sophistication of that time.
What's special about it?
It's famous for how it blends architectural styles. You've got the traditional Japanese shoin style, the elegant rooms with tatami and sliding screens. But it's fused beautifully with Western architectural touches, especially in the garden design and some of the details. It shows this was a place with taste, with money, not just some rustic village.
That blending of Japanese and Western is always so fascinating from that period. Okay, here's an idea. Since it's 2024, the year of the dragon, maybe we could suggest a little themed hunt for visitors. A dragon hunt at Taishakuten Temple.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. Dragons are hugely important symbols, especially at a temple so linked to water like Daishaku. It fits perfectly.
So where would you start the hunt?
Okay, first stop. The water basin where you purify your hands, the Josuya. Look closely above it. There's usually a fantastic carving of a dragon, often with these striking golden eyes. Really fierce looking.
Cool. Where next?
Look up. Inside the main prayer hall, check the ceiling. You should find this huge dynamic ink painting of a dragon. It's often attributed to the famous Kano school of painters. Really impressive scale.
An ink dragon. Nice. Is there a third one?
Yes, and this one's alive. You need to find the temple's most famous tree, the Zuri no Matsu. That means the auspicious dragon pine.
Auspicious dragon pine.
Yeah, look at its branches. They spread out in this incredible twisting way that looks exactly like a dragon soaring upwards. It's like a living sculpture. Quite breathtaking, actually.
Wow, okay. A carved dragon, a painted dragon, and a living tree dragon. That's a great mini-quest. So, wrapping this up, this deep dive into Katsushika's Nijuku and Shibamata, it really feels like a journey through layers of history. You've got strategic town planning, Hiroshige's art, Tora-san's cinema nostalgia, that whole Shitamachi vibe. It's like getting a shortcut to understanding a much deeper, older Tokyo.
It really is. And maybe one final thought for you, the listener, if you really want to connect even deeper. Remember that the history here isn't just in books or museums. Some of it is still practiced.
Like what?
Well, you could try to find out a bit about the old folk traditions that still quietly continue. For example, look into the Fujuko. These are pilgrim groups, often linked to Narita-san Temple, who apparently still have meetings or gatherings in this area, maybe in January, May, September.
Pilgrim groups still meeting?
Yeah, remnants of much older traditions. Or see if you can find any information about the horsehead cannon rituals. These were historically held in April, connected to prayers for the health of horses and livestock, super important in the Edo period.
Wow.
These aren't tourist shows. They're real, lingering echoes of the past, showing the deep spiritual roots beneath the quaint streets you walk today. Something extra to ponder.
That's a fantastic final thought. Connecting with living history, not just observing relics. So next time you're planning that Tokyo trip, maybe think about swapping a day in the modern Shinjuku for this deep dive into Nijuku and Shibamata.
It's a strategic move you won't regret.
Definitely sounds like it.